morning. It's what day is it today? October 16th. I had a dream. I need to do this quick because I don't have a lot of battery left. But it was the same type of overall feeling of healing. But there's different parts to it, and I don't know what came first and what. I don't know the order, but these are the images that I remember. I saw one of my clients, and I'm seeing her, and she's with her daughter, which is weird because I know she doesn't have a daughter. And she's being recorded, like her story is being documented, and she's with her younger daughter, and she's kissing, like she's just loving this younger daughter. And then I realized right now, as I was on the toilet just reflecting, because I know she doesn't have a young daughter, I think this is her loving herself, her loving her younger self, like giving that inner child love. And it was so beautiful to watch. It was so beautiful to watch. And then I see and she just looks fulfilled and happy. Then I'm in this other room, and there's people. There's a lot of activity. And there's I don't know who these people are. They're like college students, maybe. They're college students, and they're busy, and there's just a lot of movement. That's all I remember right now. But I'm there with them. And I don't know that, I can't remember the details. But then I shift to another part. It's like all within the same building. Then I shift to the other side. And everything goes dark. Everything goes dark. But I can see at night. Like I can see at night. So I'm seeing what's happening. And I see like something flying. I thought it was a bird, but it's not a bird. It's a bat. A bat. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I can see a bat at night. But then I see that it's holding on to something. And it's the same size as the bat. I mean, usually predators, right, like go for something smaller. Unless they're being attached to it, right? Like I know they like, you know, bats will suck on like cows and stuff, but they actually land on the cow, right? Like, the cow can't really shoo it away. But in this scene, he's behaving more like a predator in the sense of like he's holding on to something that's alive, and then he's going biting into it. You can see a little creature going like this, and then he bites down again, and he did it 3 times. And I was just like fascinated by what was happening, what was unfolding in front of me. And it was up on this metal thing in this room. It was like a warehouse almost. It felt like a warehouse. It felt like a big warehouse. And then my attention shifts to this father and his 2 kids. And it almost feels like it's my brother and the twins. And they're like doing something. But in essence, what I'm seeing is that and there's other kids too. There's these other kids, and they're playing make-believe. But the weird thing is that they're playing make-believe, but it's becoming, like it's what they're playing make-believe is actually unfolding in front of them. It's unfolding in front of them. It's like your thoughts are becoming, it's just becoming reality. And then there's like this underground, there's this machine that they created that's supposed to dig underground. And then it goes outside the warehouse. And it's like they're wanting to like leave. On this thing that they created. That dig. You know, like, remember those sci-fi movies where they're in the ground? Like, what's that one with Arnold Schwarzenegger? And they go to like Mars, and there's this like thing underground, and it's just like, you know, like to kind of make a hole as this contraption is going through. It had that same feel, like this machine was able to like dig, but it wasn't completely underground. It was like half underground, or half in the ground and half still exposed. Yeah, isn't that weird? And then I woke up and I just had this feeling. I'm like, oh, I'm helping people. I'm helping people. But I wanted to speak a little more on I left this old fire sign a message, and I decided to respond, one, because I knew what I was going to say. Oh crap, my battery's going to die. But anyways, I highlighted for him his heightened intuition, right? And I imagined, like, after I was done, I was like, it's a triangle, it's a triangle, it's another triangle, where you have the two extremes of knowingly walking into the unknown. Knowingly walking into the unknown. And so then your senses are heightened. And then depending on which part of the triangle you're on, it may be to your benefit or not. So the two extremes that I gave him examples were people going to war, right? They knowingly know they're going into war, but there's this unknowing of how things will unfold. And then people coming out of the jail system, right? Where they are knowingly coming out of the jail system into this unknown, you know, back into the world, not knowing how it's going to unfold. And then there's this old fire sign right here, where now he is also doing that, right? Embarking on this trail, knowingly doing it, but also the experience being unknown. The difference with all three is that in these two, in this one, the war one, there was an element of choosing that type of life, but then this element of not choosing the situation, right? In the sense of like, I signed up for the military, but I really don't want to go to war, but I have to go because now that's my job. I want to go to this trail. It's all choice. I want to be set free, but at the same time, this is the only life I've lived, depending on how many years you've been incarcerated. And so there's fear. There's also fear. There's this mixed emotions of like, yes, I'm free. But then it's like, oh, snap, what am I going to do? So there's more confusion, right? And then the outcomes are really interesting, right? The outcomes are all similar in that how things unfold, right? You have war people, like either they completely try to readjust and then they get lost in that process, right? And then you end up with war veterans with PTSD. Or the people who are after a war go back to that line of work because that's their new normal, right? And they can operate better in those conditions. People who leave the jail system, right? They either are able to get it, right? Follow their intuition or have the support it's in place, right? Whether it's family, knowing that not all of them have supports. It's hard for them to get a job because they now have this criminal record. And so then how do you expect them to have this routine, right, for themselves? Because they came from a place where they weren't allowed to follow their intuition. They were told what to say, what to do, how to do it, different times of the day, right? Everything was controlled. And now they're being expected to tap into their intuition on their own without having the training to do so, right? And then we strip them from the resources that could help them have a little more structure. And then you have this fire sign, who it was a choice to go on this adventure, right? And so there's more of this element of excitement because he did the preparation for it. And so then his heightened, in all cases, they had to rely on themselves to a certain degree. And then how well they were able to tap into that just varies. And so, because his description of it is similar to that of like war veterans, from what I hear, right? From what I know in terms of mental health, this embarking into the unknown and your internal compass gets activated. But then when you come back to society right now, no longer being in the wilderness, then, it's hard to readjust it and just kind of like, because you don't need it to be so high anymore. There's an element.
Hi, my name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us, in whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth. This just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience, and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you